Here are my 4 note cards. Dysgraphia. A neurological condition is considered a specific learning disorder in written expression, according to Klein of 2020. Noticing the signs of dysgraphia will lead to the proper diagnosis by medical professionals, ultimately resulting in the appropriate treatment. Today, we will go over the signs of dysgraphia, the types and how it is diagnosed, and finally, the treatments. Let's first look at the signs of dysgraphia. Dysgraphia have many signs depending on the person's age. It is typically diagnosed at a young age when a student first begins school. However, if it is found later in life, it is usually due from a stroke or trauma. There are both physical and cognitive signs. The physical signs include poor handwriting, inconsistent spacing of both letters and words, unequal letter sizing, resulting in both capital and lowercase letters in one word, and misspelling words. Some cognitive signs include having trouble understanding new topics, transferring thoughts to written expression. A quote from Souza of 2025 says, "Trouble organizing their writing. They may have great ideas but have a hard time getting them down onto paper in a coherent, structured way. This also affects their ability to express their emotions through their writing." Now that we know the signs of dysgraphia, let's look at the types and how it is diagnosed. There are 5 types of dysgraphia: dyslexia, motor, spatial, phonological, and lexical dysgraphia, according to Miller of 2024. I'm going to talk about the most 3 popular. First one is dyslexia dysgraphia. Dyslexic dysgraphia is a type we see when spontaneously written work is illegible. In contrast, copied work can be okay or pretty good, according to Finn of 2020. Students with dyslexia dysgraphia have a hard time spelling correctly and writing a grammatically coherent sentence. Motor dysgraphia affects a student's fine motor skills. These students will have a hard time forming letters correctly. And finally, spatial dysgraphia. These students have a hard time staying within the lines and having spatial awareness between their words and letters. Now, our medical professionals will observe each student through many tests. These tests include assessments, academic tests, IQ tests, and fine motor challenges. After observing each student while taking one of these tests, they will use the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual of Mental Disorders in order to classify the diagnosis. Now that dysgraphia is diagnosed, let's look at the treatments available. Each student has individualized treatment as there is no medication that will help cure dysgraphia, rather ways of therapy and strategies to help cope with it throughout their life. Schools commonly use accommodations, modifications, and remediation according to the Cleveland Clinic of 2025. Let's take a look at these 3. Accommodations will use the same curriculum as any other student, but their assessments might be different. Instead of having a written test, they may have oral response. Modifying will be changing the tests and assignments in order to specifically go to each need of the student. And remediation is commonly found through therapy focused on each individual's specific needs. Occupational therapy is the most common therapy for each dysgraphic student, according to Troya of 2020. In occupational therapy, they will use therapeutic activities such as tracing activities, connect the dot, and modeling clay. They will also have hand and wrist exercises, which will help with their writing and forming letters properly. While there is no simple treatment, there is one simple end goal, and it is improving the academic performance of each individual. Today, we discussed the signs of dysgraphia, the different types and how they are diagnosed, and the treatment options available. Noticing the signs of dysgraphia will lead professionals to the proper diagnosis, ultimately resulting in the appropriate treatment for each individual. Dysgraphia, a neurological condition, is a complex condition that needs support from all to improve their lives both academically and personally.